Alright, hey guys, welcome back. In the last comic video, I was kind of debating whether I was going to continue working on the same video or if I was going to cut it short and come back. Unfortunately, my phone kind of made the choice for me. Sorry, let me adjust this, that way my phone doesn't fall out. My phone kind of made the choice for me as I had accidentally pressed the stop button. So we're going to continue on with these comics here. I feel like this is already added to my list. This shouldn't be coming up again. I'm going to be listening to some music here. I've got like my focus music. I'm trying to debate if I want to play something else. No, we'll go with focus. We're gonna change the process here a little bit. I know that once we got the mannequin, we were gonna start going for like the clothing / armor, but we're going to change that. As you can see here, mannequin. And this is my process. If everyone's got their own thing, but this is what is gonna help me get everything the way I want and the way I want it to. I don't want to say need because people do things differently in different comic styles and stuff. So I'll do anatomy / muscles, then clothing / armor, and then lighting / rendering. Same thing, but that's what we're looking at right now. So I think I'm pretty good with the layout here as far as this goes for the mannequins. Now, because I haven't drawn a lot of larger people, I am going to be referencing the Morpho book, Fat and Skin Folds. I'll probably have to reference it off screen because of it does like show like boobs and stuff like that. But recommended book if you want to kind of draw larger characters and have like a believability to them. Also, of course, reference by studying larger people. These are the other books that I have. So I have the Skin and Fold, Fat and Skin Folds. I have Clothing Folds and Creases, which I will start doing studies from. So maybe I'll start recording that as well. I think here. Simplified Form. Have that one. Muscled Bodies. So there's that one. And then the last one that I have, actually it's not the last one. The other one I have is Hands and Feet. And then I also have the original first one, which is just the straight out Morpho book. So like I might actually reference this. We'll see. But so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 of these Morpho books. I think the only one I think there's 2 that I don't have with the Morphos. Oh shit. By the way, these are excellent resources if you're looking to create comics, I think, because I'm going to be referencing these a lot. Actually, I feel like there's more that I don't have. I'm gonna do this because I can. It's my book. Where's my permanent marker? I'm gonna mark off the ones I do have. So I have this one, the hands and feet. I have the original Morpho. I have muscled bodies. I have simplified forms. Yes, I have simplified forms. I don't have this one, the skeleton and bone reference points. I don't have that. I do have fat skin and folds. And I don't have the joint forms and muscular function. Those are the two I don't have. And then they came up with an animal one. And they also came out with another one. It's like the head. But I did look at the head one. And honestly, I wasn't. I feel like there's. God creates amazing work, but I feel like there was better references for the head one. There are other books that I would have recommended outside of the head one. But some other resources that might be beneficial if you guys are looking to create comics and work on stuff would be the Taco books. So this one is the first one that came out. Now I'm not sure if he's re-released this one. I think it's a he, but it's an artist off of Instagram. That's how I came across his work. But it's everything is very manga-esque style, and it breaks everything down in a simple way. The first one is, unless they've re-released it, the first one is in Korean. I think this is Korean. I know it's not Japanese. I think this is Korean. But this one, I mean, I feel like you can understand what the artist is trying to teach or trying to get across with just the illustrations themselves. And of course, as you draw stuff, you can come across your own notes. Now, I do know there's programs or like things you can use to scan the text and it'll interpret or translate it for you. But this is the first one. And then he did come out with a second one, and this is actually broken up into 2 books. So it's 2 parts, but I think they sell it as a set. But you have the first one, and then you have the second one, and they're broken up. The first one is broken up, and this one actually does have like English translation on top of the Korean. So, but the first one is broken up into like the body, and then the arms, like lower body, so lower body, upper body, the arms. And then the second one, I think, is more on the face and some other stuff. Let me see. So you have the face, and it breaks down different parts. And then you got the legs, and then it's got some illustrations, which are beneficial because this is the illustration. It's different angles of the figure. Should be like this. So even the head as well, different angles of the head. So this is a very good reference. Talks about the legs and different viewpoints. So I really find these books useful for reference, and I really haven't studied these yet, but I do want to. So at some point in time, maybe I'll get into those as well. So those are my recommendations for reference. All right, so now that I've spent 10 minutes on that, let's get back into this. So we're going to work on, we've got the stick figures that are laid down already. Now we're going to get into we got the mannequin, so now we're going to work on the anatomy because I want to make sure I'm getting that correctly. So I do have with the muscles here. Close. Reset. Full figure. Big portion. Close. I do have my iPad open so I can reference that's not what I'm looking for. So that I can reference this stuff. I wish the program that I was using, I wish that it would allow me to rename the poses or the save screens that I have or poses that I have. It'd make it so much easier. But it is what it is. I'm going to do muscles. And then we are going to the one thing I do like about this particular program is the fact that I can not only change if it's male or female, but I can change the body type as well. So I can do like a fat, a normal, skinny, old, and then of course muscular, and then male or female. So those are benefits to that. I am gonna have to mark these again so that way I don't have to constantly reference. This is a female. This is a female. This is a male. Male here. Female here. Male here, right? Male. And I already know this is the female. So, all right. I've got the skinny. We're going to do the skinny male first. I'm not too worried about the head. The head I can come back to later. Because I'm just going to, with the head, I'm just going to lay in the planes of the face. So, and then I have to, I mean, by the time you guys see this video, I should already, you guys will, I'll already have stuff put up on my YouTube when it comes to my comics. But as of the recording of this, I am going to have to at some point start loading stuff on my YouTube channel regarding the comic, because do the second lighting, because I am running out of space, or not running out of space, but these recordings, because they are these long videos, are taking up a lot of space. Well, yeah, they're taking up a lot of space on my this goes here on my tablet, because that's where I load everything onto. um, to like edit and that's actually where's my other eraser at? But that's where I load everything else onto my tablet because let me do I do it that way. My tablet, my iPad has, I think it's 500 gigs of memory, but with these larger videos, it takes up a lot of space. And then also the editing program that I use, because I use, what the hell is it called? I will actually tell you guys. UCut. They keep going up on their prices too. I remember when you could get a lifetime access for like, I think it's like $15. Now they're asking for like 50. But you can still use like the free version. And honestly, the I don't really use it outside of editing videos. Like I don't use AI on my videos. I don't like there's nothing I really need from it. But it takes up on my iPad 130 gigabytes of memory. There is no reason for that. Not for that program. There isn't. There's no need. There should be no reason that a program takes up that much space. Let me see. Like even GarageBand, which I think it used to be like very heavy. Like I have other programs that don't take up that much memory, and I feel like I know it's for editing and stuff like that, but I just feel like it takes up an unnecessary amount of space. To the point where, like, and I feel like each time, like, there's an update on it, like, it just becomes that more memory intensive, like, on, like, the device that you're using. And it's like, at what point do you say, you know what, I might have to start looking for something else because there should be no reason that as many videos as I have on my tablet right now from videos of recording that I have not deleted yet, there should be no reason why an app takes up more space than the excessive amount of files that I have that the app takes up more space than my files do for my recordings, and all the videos that I have when it comes to my recordings take up more than 2 gigabytes, way more than 2 gigabytes each. And I'm trying to estimate here. But yeah, I just feel like it's becoming excessive with the file sizes for that particular program. Like, so right now I'm just working on the anatomy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is all getting covered up. Now I know everyone does their chest different. When it comes to artists, that is not what I thought that was. Where's my eraser? Here we go. And I know it's due to personal preference. Jesus, I feel like I keep hitting this. I want to make sure I'm not constantly hitting that. Okay. But I know people have their own personal preference. I did not warm up today either. So this is gonna be rough. No, it's not. Well, it's not. We're not gonna speak that. But like for example, I'll do this as like the chest area. These are some of the ways that I've seen it done, and or I do it. This is the midsection, but like I've seen people. So like I've seen people go like they do like this balloon, like they curve up, and I understand why they would do that because of the way the muscle is shaped, right? And they do it that way. I've seen people who just do a straight line and then that's how they do it. I like this curve of the muscle and then bringing it up that way. And then going across here. That's just my personal preference. That's the aesthetic that I like. So do it however you want. That's just how I do it. So yeah. Anyway, going back here. So this, I feel like his chest is too small. I feel like this needs to come down some. That's another thing I have a habit of doing is drawing the chest muscles too small. Like and it causes my figures to look wrong. And sometimes I kind of like trying to figure out why it looks off, and it's usually because the chest muscles are not are not down far enough. All right, and actually I could make this smoother. Whatever, we'll do it that way. That's fine. It's gonna get covered anyway. All right, so let's do the rib cage area. Oh, not the rib cage, the abdomen. So here, and maybe this would be where his belly button is, most likely. So I'm gonna do a line here, and then because that belly button is gonna help determine the midsection of the abdominal area, and also where the lower abs are. And what I'm gonna do, now that I have that, I'm just gonna kind of rough in a rough area of the abs, because I don't need to rough everything out. You're not gonna see it anyway. And then we have the back here. I forgot what these muscles are called, but the ones that kind of go like this, there's a particular name for them, and I forgot what they are. Not that it really matters at the moment. So, but this goes here, and then we've got the love handles, right? So we know that the hips are gonna go here. And then we're starting to get the leg muscles here, as well as like the you might have a hint of the butt. But that's pretty much what we're gonna get there. Might have to start doing some light erasing here so I can see what I'm working with. Now remember, this is just the anatomy phase. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I need to be able to see what I'm doing. I need to be able to see what I'm doing here. So if you're wondering what this part is here, right? So we've got the chest, and the chest is going to stick out some because it's not going to be, I mean, I could give him like what they call, what is it, like a bird chest. And that's what they call dudes who don't have like they're like, there's like no chest development. It's like old, like I used to hear it back in high school. I think that's why you think they used to say bird chest to guys who had like a flat chest, like there was like no muscles. I might have to end up, after I do these, I might have to end up, I don't think I can use the kneaded eraser on this paper because it's just computer paper, guys. It's just really thin computer paper, so it's not going to hold up the best when it comes, I think, using the kneaded eraser. I can already feel some of the residue from the kneaded eraser on here. But, so I'll probably end up having to light box it after I finish everything and then add everything on top of that, but whatever. What was I about to say? But yeah, I could give him like a straight up flat chest, but even still, because there is muscle there is going to be some type of lift off of the rib cage, even if it's minimal. So now we're gonna work on the arm, and this would be where the deltoid would stop. If you guys have questions about the deltoid muscle, then I suggest you definitely look up some anatomy books, but usually the deltoid is the deltoid, right? I'm saying that, I think, yeah. The deltoid muscle, I'm drawing it thin because this is not a muscular guy. But the deltoid muscle ends where the chest, where you are like almost where the chest is, like where the nipple area is. I'm trying to find some reference I can show you guys. Let's see if it's in this book. I know we haven't gotten that far yet, I don't think, but or maybe I have actually. That's upper torso. We need to look into the arm is what we need to look at too. Arm. Arm. I need to look. Arm moving. Designing the arm. I'm looking for the deltoid though. Where's the deltoid? Where they actually go in depth about the deltoid. That's the triceps, biceps, brachialis. But we haven't gotten that far in the book yet. Is it on the upper part of the body? Maybe it is, but I'll reference this page if it doesn't work. All right, let me see if it's in the upper part of the body. I don't think it did. Deltoids, here we go. But I don't think, so I did go over these parts, but I don't think it ever mentions how far the deltoid goes down. I think it briefly talks about the shape. Talks about that has 3 sides. I don't think I read about it, and I did read this stuff too. Yeah, I don't think it mentioned it. Okay. Well, I don't think it mentions it, but there's an image in here that I want to reference. A few images that I'll reference to show you guys. Where's it at? Where'd it go? So, in this particular image down here, this is the deltoid. This is where it ends. It lines up with the chest. It lines up with the chest. So that's how long that deltoid muscle is. It's not this short, oh, son of a bitch. Um, whatever. It's not this small muscle that that's there. I'm trying to find my other anatomy book so I can show you guys. Um, give me a second. Hopefully he shows it in here. I think he does. The arm. Please give me something to work with here. Where's the deltoid? Here we go. So here's the deltoid. Does he reference it? I don't think he does too much, but you can kind of see this. It's a long muscle. It's not this small muscle. It pretty much covers half of the upper arm. If you think about it that way, it's pretty much half the upper arm. So here's a good example here also in this particular image. This is where the deltoid ends. This is where the chest is. So, well, this is the bottom of the chest, but this is where the deltoid is compared to that. So, the deltoid is a long muscle. It's not this short, thin muscle that like ends up here somewhere. It definitely goes down. So, all that to say, don't draw the deltoid as a short muscle. Make sure you're lining it up correctly with the chest, so that way your figures actually do look correct. And I know this is going to be cut off, but I still want to draw through these lines so that way I have an idea of what I'm looking at here. Now remember, this character is a thin character, so we're not going to do anything crazy with the muscles. This is where the bend of the arm would be, that elbow area. This is your biceps. And you have like little muscles that go here, they intertwine. Now you have the brachialis, and what's going to end up happening is, because you're not going to see the tricep, you're going to see more of the brachialis on this particular, the way the arm is turned here. And this arm is going to be a lot thinner. You've got some muscles. I'm just going to kind of do that. because you're not going to see the hand. And then on the other side here, we're going to do the deltoid. And you would get a little bit of the bicep here, but you're not going to see it because it's going to be covered by this character here. And I'm not going to, oh, excuse me. I'm not going to draw through because I'm going to, I do want to do this character, but I think like aesthetically it's going to look weird to try to have the arm and stuff here sticking through. We'll see. We'll see. I won't put any muscles there just in case. I don't want to waste my time. So now that we've got him in there, I've got the, I'm going to darken up these lines a little bit with another pencil. Just so I can get a better idea of what I'm doing here. And mainly it's just going to be the outline of some of these muscles. Like here, so I don't have an idea of what's going on there. The bicep area here. Even though once the armor and stuff is on, I'm not even gonna really see that. But it will help me get an idea of what I've got going on here. And technically I could, if I wanted to, probably thin this arm out some more. But I think that's good. I think that's a good proportion with everything else. I'm going to mark the hips because I want to know that. And then over here would be the other area. If I were to draw through, this would be where the other hip would be, that part. So we've got one character down. It took us 40 minutes. Well, technically 30 after my 10-minute intro. So now let's go and work on this guy. Not too worried about the face. I'm gonna adjust the lighting here. This guy will have more muscular. I need the lighting. There we go. Is that a gnat? I feel like a gnat just flew in front of my face. I don't know. All right, so let's work on this guy here. not focus too much on the face, because we'll do that later. But here is the whole area here. Let's work on these neck muscles. Since I can't use the kneaded eraser without leaving like residue on this paper in a really bad way, what I'll do is I'll use this and I'll just kind of lightly go over but not erase everything, so that way there's still a somewhat of a hint of the muscle, or the, not the muscles, Jesus, thinking about muscles, a hint of the lines that I was working on. And these muscles don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look anatomically correct. So you just want to get enough information to where you know what you're doing here. And of course, I am still using reference for the anatomical, the anatomy part. And as much as I know a lot of this anatomy, certain angles I do not know the anatomy. And that is okay. That's why it is okay to use reference. And if you have to use reference, don't let anyone make you feel bad that you have to use reference. Because there are going to be some people, I think that's with every artist, you're going to have artists who don't know how to draw certain things from memory because they just don't draw that thing. You know, you might have someone who does sci-fi. They might not know really how to really do fantasy because that's not really their go-to. They don't spend time drawing it. Or you might have someone who does fantasy and they don't really know how to do mechanics because they don't draw mechanics, and you really can't draw what you don't know. You can have an idea roughly, but if you've never really seen a mechanic, like a mechanical arm or something, you might not know how to break that down. So you'll come up with your own strengths and stuff when it comes to what you draw. Like if you draw more animals, stuff like that, you might be better off doing creature designs than the average, or than another artist, because that's what you invest your time into, is drawing animals, versus humans. So and that's cool too. This needs to be a little more. feel more comfortable drawing these muscular dudes, because that's something I've done a lot. So it's easy. See how easy it was for me to throw in the chest muscle compared to the skinny guy. The skinny guy really had to think about it, because I didn't want to draw over muscular chest, knowing that that's not what he's got, right? I mean, if I can see this, I'll just draw a hint of where the chest would curve inward. Like, even though I know this is wrong too, but that's okay. We're gonna make it work because the deltoid is here. Now with this particular character, I don't know if I would see the bicep too much, honestly. Not the bicep, the tricep. I might get a hint of tricep. Yeah, I'm gonna see the tricep. I could put the bicep in. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Put the bicep in. In this particular angle, I think his arm is raised a little bit. We'll put his arm down a little bit. Of course, we've got the belly button that would be right here. So we're going to guesstimate the belly button is here. Once again, that's going to help us determine that angle also of the that torso, or the center of that torso, because this would be where the lower abs would be. And then here, not really too much explaining I feel like I need to do. I will say that because the body is angled this way more, so you're going to see more of the backside or the side. This is going to be that ab area is going to be moved over, so you're probably going to see more. You're going to probably see a little bit less on this side. Because you're going to see more of this over here. So. Then we've got the back here. We've got the love handles. I'm actually going to give him, because it's not going to be a flat area. Even with this guy, I'm going to go back and just add a little bit of a dip here to show that there's, you know, some type of meat there. I do like that. I don't want the character just being a straight line through that part. Make it look like they've got some meat on them. And then we've got the hip area, of course. That's going to come down here. And I feel like adding this little dip here makes the character seem more believable, more human, I guess, versus just like some comic character. And then we've got the muscles here. Starting to get into the muscles of the legs and the butt, the booty. And honestly, this could have actually gone here. Let's stretch it out more. And then here, I've got the rib cage, remember. And there's also meat and muscle. So muscle and bones and everything else that is within that. And I'm doing the same thing, getting a little bit of a little bump there where the hip would be to show that there's some actual tissue there. And then I'll leave that way. So we're almost an hour and we've got almost 2 figures done. Almost. So I need to get this other arm in here, as well as I need to finish off this arm. So let's do this arm here, deltoid. We're gonna go, there we go. Adjusting my reference accordingly. So that way, there we go. You're not going to really see it because the chest muscle is going to be covering some of it up. So, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's not something I'm trying to remind myself of as I'm saying it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So this would go here. I'm going to draw through the way to figure out where that bicep ends. And you've got other muscles that come through here. So and then here, and the rest of that will be cut off. So, but got the muscles here on this side, bicep. Here. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you've got a muscle that comes here. And then just gonna do it this way. Not get too stuck up on the details. You have the brachialis, which would be here, and it would come here. I don't think it'll go down this far, but we're gonna make it work. And then you would get a hint of the tricep back here. There's another muscle though. The arm muscles are going to go here. Because you've got this one here, kind of roughing this in, and then you've got another one that goes here. So I'm just kind of roughing those in here. And then this would be the wrist area. So I'm going to erase that part. And I'm going to straighten this up, or clean this up. So you wouldn't even see the tricep, or not too much of the tricep here. And this is something that I've noticed for a little bit of an anatomy lesson. Your deltoid, surprisingly, is not the widest part of the arm. It is this part. So I think I made a note of it somewhere. Hold on. Because I was actually surprised to learn that. I think it's in this. Is it in this? Yeah, I made a note of it. It's actually in the Tom Fox books too. But it literally says the shoulder isn't the widest part. It's actually this tricep area. And it doesn't stick out excessively, like an excessive amount more than the shoulder, but it sticks out just enough, just a little bit more, depending on the figure, of course, because with the arm muscle, if you break it down, just a basic muscle, you have the bicep, the brachialis, and then you have the tricep. You have three muscles here that are bulging and pressing against each other. So they're going to stick out a little bit more than the tricep, or a little bit more than the deltoid area in the arm. So just something that I found was interesting to learn about. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so there's that. This guy's done for the most part. This is as far as we need to go with him. Yeah, I think that's as good as we need to go with him. I'm going to clean this part up a little bit. There we go. Because once again, like I said, I could go in and I could add all the details of the muscle and stuff like that, but there's no need when I'm going to be putting clothing and armor over these characters. There's no point of it. I mean, I could show off or try to show off and get a little bit of an anatomy lesson in for myself, but honestly, that's not the intent of why we're doing this. So there's no point of doing it. So we are over an hour at the moment. We're going to work on this guy. We'll do this guy. I'm gonna get all the dudes out of the way first. I feel like it's easier since I've already got the model set for as a guy. So it just makes sense to go ahead and knock these out versus constantly switching back and forth. Give me me 1 second, guys. My phone keeps sliding. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and work on this dude. Look at freaking dead skin. Great. All right. At first I was like, what the hell is that on my hand? But it's dead skin. All right, so this guy here, we've got the dip here. We're going to work on, I always start with the neck muscle. I literally start from the top and work my way down. Some people might find it easier to start off at the midsection or other parts of the body. I do not. I find it that it's easier for me to work my way down. You do what works for you. Again, reiterating that. Because I feel like for me, that was something that I struggled with really understanding that I need to do stuff in a way that works for me and that I understand versus what someone might teach it. Like, yeah, I want to learn how, like, I'll follow through with how they do it so I can understand, hopefully get the idea of what they're trying to get across. But after that, it's up to me to take that information and apply it in a way that's going to not only make sense for me, but benefit me in my drawing. Like, if it's going to make it harder for me to draw, then it's not really helping me. I know there's like a learning curve. I'm not talking about the learning curve, but like Tom Fox draws, right? Book, it's an amazing book. But I've learned a lot from it, and I think it's definitely helped me improve and with not only my anatomy, but like how I think about certain stuff. But guess what? You guys don't see me drawing the figure in boxes. I've never drawn outside of, I think there was a few where I was like, let me make sure I have the perspective correct. And I think that's the only time where I might use the box formula when it comes to the figure, is to get the perspective correctly, or the perspective correct. But after that, it's pretty much just me using circles and Jesus Christ, I can't even think. Circles and ovals. Jeez. Brain was on reboot there for a second. But yeah, it's mainly circles and ovals. Even with knowing the anatomy and the muscle or the skeleton system, as you guys can see, I'm not drawing like a detailed skeleton before I draw the muscles and stuff over it. I'm laying out the main things that I consider to be key key markers, and then I go ahead and draw over that. Like the sternum is a key marker for me. It might not be for some people, but it is for me. The For me, I know that the collarbone is a key marker for me when it comes to where the deltoid starts on these muscles versus where the chest starts and ends, or where the chest starts, the marker for the chest and the marker for the deltoid, because there's a certain amount of space that the chest muscle connects to or takes up on the clavicle, as well as how much space the deltoid takes up on the clavicle. And I try to be mindful of that as well. So just like another thing for me, like, would be the biceps, right? The biceps, not the biceps. Yeah, the biceps. Is it the biceps? I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. Not the biceps, sorry, the belly button. Because that helps determine, I know for me, I'm able to determine the twist of the torso based on where that belly button is. Another, this is for me, once again, another indicator for me, or another key marker for me, is where the chest starts to turn. Because for me, that indicates the area that I'm going to start having the side of the side muscles come in. And I'm going to look it up because I forgot what those, I think they're called the serratus muscles. Let me look and see. I think they're called the serratus muscles. Let's see how well I know my anatomy. So, bitch, yes. So, these are called the serratus muscles. These muscles right here that you've really seen on like people who are really thin or bodybuilders. These are the serratus muscles. They interconnect with the rib cage. So, there's that. So, tell me I don't know my anatomy. But this indicates that this is going to be where the kind of like where the ending of the beginning, or the start to the ending of the rib cage, because the serratus muscles are where these connect into. And I know once I've got that connecting part of where the rib cage is, then I know from there we're looking at the love handles. So I know here the serratus muscle would stop here, and then the rib cage, the love handles will start going over there. And I know within, before we, the indicator here, we've got the abs. And of course, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we've got an indicator of where the ab muscles are going to be. And I know for me, you've got the belly button, which is going to be a little bit above the love handles, or the hip bone. So the belly button here as well. And then a little bit below that, we have the indicator of where the hips would be. So that is how I think of stuff. That is how I break stuff down. And that is honestly from practicing anatomy, studying anatomy, drawing stuff over again. And honestly, talking about it now, I mean, this is stuff I don't even think I really thought about. It just is what it is for me. So, but to actually put like speak and let you guys know, like, this is what I'm thinking. When I draw the rib cage, or when I draw the chest, I'm thinking here. When I curve that chest, I know from there, and I know from that part here, that's where I'm gonna have that rib cage. And then from there, like that's what I'm thinking about automatically. But now saying it actually like lets me know, like, this is my thought process out loud that I didn't even really think about before. It was just something that I was automatically doing. And when you guys start doing your own stuff, you'll do stuff that you'll start doing automatically, not even really think about it until maybe you have to break it down one day. And then you're just like, oh, that's what I'm doing. All right, so we have 3 characters down in muscular form in an hour and 16 minutes. That's not bad, honestly. I feel like that's pretty good, honestly. Because for the most part, I mean, outside of me having my reference, I've got the mannequin down. And having this mannequin down really helps because I don't have to think about it as much. It's already laid out. It's already kind of laid out for me. So I know that with me having that laid out, it allows everything else to kind of go a little bit smoother because I don't have to think about as much stuff. Now, okay, so now we're gonna work on this wonderful character here, and then what I'll do is, because we're already over an hour, after I get her laid in, I'll come back and work on the other characters here. So let's go ahead and get her in. I know that, yeah. And I'll post a picture. I'll probably end up posting a picture on my Instagram, even though this isn't. This picture will be up before the actual video will be up, and that's okay. But it's been a while since I've posted anything on Instagram, I think, when it comes to my art. So I want to go ahead and do that. I mean, technically I could post some other stuff, like some sketches from my sketchbook. I might do that instead. And this is going to go up here. Now, even though this character is muscular, she's not going to be as muscular as a guy. And that's, dealing with like hormones, and then, the female body, and then, the female body is different from the male body, especially how they build muscle and stuff like that. So women can get to that point where they're pretty jacked. Of course, it's going to take a lot more work, but I want this character to look like she's strong because she is, because she is a warrior, but it's not like she's taken like steroids or something like that, so there's not going to be that in there. So I am gonna draw the chest muscles like a because the female, she's got chest muscles like the guy, but you've got the breasts that are over that, that are over those chest muscles. So I'm gonna lay in the chest muscles first because I want that in there. And same thing with the guys. I have that downward, the slope is downward for the chest muscles before I start bringing that up. So there we go. And then same once again, this is kind of giving you guys my thought process here. All right, and that means that's going to be where the serratus muscle is, which means this is where the rib cage is, and we've got the love handles. And she's gonna, and the hips. So the hips are gonna be a little bit wider because, you know, women give birth. And even though some women, the hips might not be as wide, genetically speaking, women have wider hips than the men because, or the pelvic area, can't think of it. I don't know what the word, but the pelvic bone, pretty much, the hip bone, it's going to be wider to give to room for like the birthing canal, right? So that way a baby can actually fit through there. But so the hips are going to be, they're going to come out a little bit wider here, and then because I want her hips, like the part of the actual muscles to come out, this is where I'm going to start widening that here. She doesn't have to have like super, I don't want her to have like super thick hips, but there's going to be you'll be able to tell that she's got, this is where it's going to start widening out here. And she's still gonna have some broad shoulders. Like she's still gonna have some muscular shoulders on her. We're at 1:30, so this is probably gonna take like another 15 minutes, maybe guesstimating. So now we're gonna work on the deltoid. So this is another reason why I did not put the chest muscles in, or the breast in, is because I need to figure out where that deltoid's going to go, without having to try to fight with where the breasts are going to sit, because the breasts are going to sit a little bit lower than I thought I put. The breasts are going to sit a little bit lower than so she's got some shoulders on her. They're going to sit a little bit lower than the chest muscles, because guess what? They have weight and mass to them, and we want to accommodate that, or we want to make sure we're showing that correctly. Now, of course, it's different when you have, depending on the size of the chest area, the bust for the woman, but even though this particular woman is muscular, she's strong, she's not in a situation where, or she's not so lean that she doesn't have any type of chest, because if you don't know, the breasts are pretty much fat. So you'll see a lot of people who, especially women who are bodybuilders, when they're cutting for like competitions and stuff, there's not much going on in the chest area, of course, unless they have, they might have implants. But yeah, the arm is turned slightly here. So you'll have a situation where the female is very muscular, but the chest area is small. And honestly, to tell you the truth, if you guys, if there's someone out there, I am all for being proved wrong and learning. If there is a woman who works out, bodybuilder wise, who has like naturally, like, larger larger chest area, like, let me know. Like, I don't want to always make the assumption that that's what's going to happen with every woman, but and every woman is different. Of course, not every woman is the not everybody's body reacts the same to weight loss, weight gain, and stuff like that. You'll have some people who, when they gain weight, they gain weight in certain areas first before others. Like, I'll give an example. One of my exes that I used to date, she wasn't too heavy set. Like, she had a few extra pounds on her, but she didn't have like her. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm trying to give you guys an example. She didn't have like a large chest, and we even talked, because she was like, at one point we were talking, this is when we were together, and she was like, it's funny because she was like, I guess she had, put on some pounds when we had, before we had met, and she was like, when I was thinner, I really didn't have much going on, and I thought that when I started putting on some weight, that my chest would have gotten a lot bigger as well. But she was like, in actuality, like, even though it did get a little bit bigger, she was like, my chest didn't really didn't get bigger than what it is right now. And you would think with someone, I don't make it seem like she was extremely big, because she really wasn't. She was also tall too. She was taller than me. I think she was like, what, 5'7", something like that. I'm like 5'4", but she was like, she was like, she was pretty much telling me, like, she was kind of disappointed because she was like, her boobs didn't grow, didn't get any bigger. But it's funny because, like, when people see me, like, they're like, for my size, like, my chest is, unfortunately for me anyway, a lot bigger than I would have wanted to, but big boobs also run in my family as well. So I don't think I have one female in my family who doesn't have big boobs. Probably, I wish I would have been that one, but I'm not. So go figure. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess. You know, um, it's funny because anytime I go shopping for bras, they're like, "Oh, people, there are women who would love to have your size," and I'm just like, okay, but that's not me though. Some other woman might want this. I don't. At this point, I'm tempted to cut these bitches off and sell them on the black market. Like uh, that's how irritated I be getting with these girls sometimes. Uh, so be ready to sell these bitches on the black market at this point. So not really, but that's how I be feeling sometimes. All right, so now we're working on this character. Now, so sometimes this is where drawing through can sometimes cause a problem because right now I'm trying to draw this other arm, but I'm constantly having to remind myself this arm is going in front because I drew this character out. So I'm trying not to interfere with this. I'm like, I have to because I have to draw this arm. So guess what? It's gotta be cut off slightly. Like I've gotta put this in here. So we're gonna go ahead and just draw it. Like I'm gonna have to erase this because it's messing with my mind here, and I don't like it. There we go. So here. I think that's what I'm looking at doing here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. It's messing with me, and I don't like it. All right, so there's that, and then this sticks out a little bit more here, and then boom, there we go. I was like, why is it? It's like it was messing with me so bad. Jeez. All right, there we go. And then this kind of goes here, and then no, I do not. The wrist, the forearm muscles, at least for right now, these will always be muscles that I will, for a while. I don't. These will always, not always, but these are muscles that anytime I'm drawing the forearm, I'm pulling up reference, because I do not remember these muscles by heart. I do not remember like how they turn at times and stuff like that. So I will always, not always, but at the moment currently, I will, anytime I draw the arm muscles and I need to figure out how the arm is twisting and turning, I will be pulling up reference. If you have Figure Drawing for All It's Worth by Andrew Loomis, an amazing book, by the way. If you actually read it, don't just draw, read. Read and draw the images that are in the book. But there is, I'm gonna see if I can find it, because there's actually where he breaks down the arms. Boom, here. Muscles of the arm. They've got from different angles. So you've got it from the front view, it turning with like at rest, and then the palm facing you. They even have like the biceps. You can see how the bicep comes down, like connects to the lower forearm. It's got the muscles, very different views. So like this is you were throwing something. If you had it to the side, I think this is the back view. Outer side view, right arm. And then these arms down here. So it gives you different views of the arm. This would be a great thing to study if you're struggling with the arms, as well as if you have like some type of 3D figure that a 3D skeleton or muscular figure that you can use to twist and turn and study the forearm muscles that way. I do have the ability to do that. It just isn't a priority for me. So right now we're going to work on the ab area. We're almost done with her. At the ab area and then the chest area. So once again, we got the belly button, which is going to be here. And then I think there's multiple, excuse me, multiple books that talk about the difference of how the, I feel like this is too wide. This is too wide out. The female the abs look compared to the men. And I'll pull up the other book on that as well. Which means, you know, that this comes here and then this goes down here. Which means this might come out a little bit more. Where's the book at? By Michael Hampton. Another book I would highly recommend. But the abs, he actually shows the difference between the male and female abs. I can find it real quick. Yeah. So, oopsies. The male abs, he has it like this, right? Where it's a straight down line. The females, they curve in and then buckle out. And what I think that form is because of the angle of the hips, because the women, see if I can explain this. The hips on the women and how that forms. So I'll bring out this paper here. So if you're drawing a male, right, you've got this guy, you've got the chest, and then you've got the hips, right? So it's pretty much like a box. With the woman, the typical woman, right, the comic woman that you, or something you might see, you've got the chest area and then you've got the hips, which are wider. So you've got this shape, right? So I'm thinking when he's referring to the abs, you have it going down, but you also have this dip of the hips. So I'm thinking like so you would have this go inward and then come back out for the width of the hips, versus the man, it's just kind of a straight shot all the way down. So I think that's what he's referring to. I hope I did that on camera. So let's try this again. The hips and the chest of the woman, right? You would have this curve here. I'll do the head here. So if the abs are here, start here, right? You would follow that dip of the hip area and then you would go down. And I think that's where Michael Hampton is getting that shape for the women, right? That versus the man, it's just a more of a box shape for the torso. So there's no real dip of the hip. So it's just a straight shot all the way down. And then you would divide these, of course, accordingly. And even for the woman, you would divide this accordingly, of course. There's actually a set here. So technically there would be that. Everyone has an 8-pack. It's just the top two here and here are usually covered by fat, or is kind of being covered by muscle, or maybe it also genetics might play into that. I don't know, don't care. But yeah. So now that we have her in, The only thing that we have to do now, as we round about 2 hours, got dog, is the chest. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to, because this is where the chest muscle would go, the chest area would go just a little bit below that. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do for the chest. And I'm going to connect, go here. And then we'll kind of play it here, because I'm not quite sure what's going to be visible with the armor. But I know that because the chest sticks out, she's not going to be flat chested. It's going to cover some of the stuff that I've already drawn in. So I'm going to do like I did last time and just make streaks to kind of help erase some of that stuff here without completely erasing all of it. All right, so she's done. We're gonna wrap this up and then we'll come back and work on the other two characters. I'm gonna take a quick break.